Hi, everyone. My name is Dimitri Armstrong with Armstrong Consultants. Who's Dimitri? A little bit about myself. I'm the CEO of Armstrong Consultants, active real estate investor since 2017. I previously started off my real estate investment experience with tax deed surplus funds and also mortgage surplus funds. We buy commercial and residential debt, also since 2017. Who is Armstrong Consultants? Well, we are a Miami, Florida note real estate investment company. Originated in 2017, we focus primarily on non-performing notes. We buy directly from banks and hedge funds. Now, I'll explain to you a little bit later why that's so important. Our partners have purchased over $1 billion in distressed assets. And the reason why that's so important is because every note we do buy, we take it through a strenuous process. They are vetted with our vendors and our partners. And well before it reaches the investor, that asset is looked at and the due diligence is done thoroughly on that particular asset. Our sole focus, we buy distressed debt from banks at a huge discount. We then become the banks. We prefer underwater assets that are owner occupied. Our primary and secondary markets are Ohio, Michigan, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Indiana, Missouri, and Kansas. For residential assets, we like to focus primarily on $50,000 to $250,000 in value. For our commercial assets, we like to focus on $250,000 to $1 million. What we aren't are wholesalers. We're not fix and flippers. We're not landlords, and we're surely not joker brokers, okay? We purchase for our own portfolio, and we close deals so you don't have to. Here's a list of the vendors that we deal with. Really quick, Madison is the servicing company. They keep a paper trail of all of the notes that we purchase, and they keep everything clean so we can have a nice track record. And if the borrower get off of paying on time, they will reach out to them. Singer Law Group is the company that handles our foreclosure. Pro Title USA is a title company that we deal with for BPOs and to make sure chain of title is clean. Ross Diversified Insurance Service is the company that we use to make sure we put insurance on each and every last one of our assets. That keeps our investor and ourselves insured. Laughlin is the company we deal with for our LLCs. Crowdfunding is the company we like to use for our onboarding with our investors to make sure the process goes smooth. They handle all the paperwork. Our deal focus. We like the residential between 50,000 and 250,000. We like to avoid long foreclosure markets. We avoid those states because they're deal killers. Occupied assets with payment history is going to consist of about 50% of our portfolio. Offer cash for keys and or a deed in lieu. That's going to be another 25% of our portfolio, just because some individuals are not going to pay on time. They have a little bit of a spotty past and they're going to continue those bad habits. So we would much rather have the cash for keys and or a deed in lieu to sell the property for its value. The last 25% will consist of foreclosures. These are properties that have been vacant. On paper, they look as if they're occupied, but when boots actually hit the ground and we see that the property has been vacated, then we will start the foreclosure process and or if the borrower just decide not to pay. We price all assets to sell. Here is an example of what a tape and or a pool will look like when we purchase from the hedge funds and also the banks. Now, if you see these properties, these are very nice, well-kept properties. The homeowners do have pride in their property. That's why we like to reach out to a lot of the homeowners and the borrowers to try to get them back on track so that they can keep the home and we don't just uproot them from the neighborhood that the kids grew up in, the neighborhoods that their job is maybe only a 2 or 3 mile commute from. Okay, Here's a note that was reperforming. Really, everyone wants a borrower like this. This borrower, we was able to reach out one time and we was able to get this borrower back on track. They really wanted to stay inside of the property. As you can see, the property looks very, very nice. They do have pride of ownership, and this property has been paying on time now for about 6 months. And we can definitely forecast that it's going to pay for another 6 months easily. And we can price this a little bit later on to make a nice profit. Now, this property was actually one of the property that on paper, it looked as if someone lives in that property. But when you actually visit the property and put boots on the ground, you realize that no one is actually there, it's vacant. And if you look inside of the bank notes actually contained a deed in lieu. The bank missed this for some reason. So we were able to reach out to a local real estate investor and have them list this property, and was able to get this property sold once we actually did a little bit of landscaping. It's a very nice property. Now here is a little bit of a different situation. The borrower was underwater, very, very bad. And we were able to strike a deal with the borrower for roughly about $160,000. This is an apartment complex. This is a note. And once we got all of the paperwork done and we pretty much settled on a deal throughout court, we was able to get this property. The best part about it, this property actually contained tenants, so we was getting paid on day one. And about 8 months later, this property went to foreclosure and we was able to sell it at the auction for about $360,000. So we made a nice chunk of change off this one. So another property in Ohio. Another one in Ohio, as you can see, very nice neighborhoods. It's very beautiful. Michigan as well. Now, guys, as I stated before, we do purchase from the banks and the hedge funds. Here's our real competitive advantage. We have over 3,000 asset managers in our network. We're always getting deals, okay? The biggest thing for us is deal flow. So we're always looking at deals, vetting deals, taking them through that strenuous process with our vendors and getting them in front of our investors, okay? Here's what I like to call our red hot deals. These deals are in one of two phases. They're either in the phase where they're about to get invested or they have been invested. That's it. These deals, we like to primarily focus on the states where the foreclosures are a little bit lenient towards a speedier process, as opposed to on the West Coast where it can take and drag out a lot longer than needed. Okay, 6 important things. Our number one goal is to rehab the borrower, not the property. We only buy first liens. We only buy below market value, that's 70% or less. Our vendors review all of our files and our title. Our servicers are handled by our vendors as well, and including the foreclosure process. We place insurance on all of our assets just in case an act of God happened, hurricane, bad storm, you name it. What are we looking for? Potential funding partners, cash savings, 401, self-directed IRA accounts. We work with Quest Trust as well, real estate investors for above average returns. Are you tired landlords that are tired of tenants, toilets, and termites? REO investors who can't find deals, fix and flippers who are tired of fixing and flipping. And people with CDs/IRA looking to put their money to work. Let's continue the conversation. Let's discuss your goals and your expectations. We know that this isn't for everyone, this particular niche, but if you are interested, if you do want to have a conversation, ask a little bit more questions, feel free to give us a call. Let's discuss some opportunities that are available right now. If you're local, let's go ahead and sit down for some coffee and I can get to know you, you can get to know me, put a face, and you'll be able to, ask me more in-depth questions, which will be much better if you're in the Miami, Broward, or Fort Lauderdale area. Now, if you're not local, let's jump on a Zoom call and you'll be able to ask me your questions there. Like I said, my name is Dimitri Armstrong. You can also contact me at armstrongconsultants.com and or call at 954-807-2443. Again, that is 954-807-2443, or you can just visit our website. And here are my closing remarks, guys. I've been with my wife for 10 years. She is my high school sweetheart. We have been married for the past 4 years, and we have 2 lovely daughters. This is why I do it. I've been affected just like you've been affected in the past 2 years. So I always keep my money working, but I know that there are many individuals out there with their money sitting in 401k or with their money sitting in risky investments, and you're looking for alternatives. And what I'm stating is, we do have deals, and we do our due diligence on these assets all the time. And if you're looking to put your money into something where you're going to have, someone that's looking out for your assets, because it is a great incentive for me to make sure that you're okay as an investor, and also to make sure that the individuals that are living inside of the assets are repaying. Give me a call. I have a family just like you. I understand what you guys are going through, and we're all feeling the burden and the weight of inflation. Also, we're helping families out that are just like mine. These individuals are people. They're not just, numbers on a spreadsheet. We call them, we speak to these people. These people want to stay in the house, so we give them the option and the power to be able to take back, what was pretty much taken from them with this Black Swan event that took place and that happened. And, they're a little bit underwater. So we get a chance to help them out as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and contact me. Thank you. Bye-bye.